The radio drawled with its words, not giving enough inspiration like it used to. With how unsavory the topics had been recently, it wasn't at all surprising. Not that dogs fetching frisbees were more to your taste, it was just dry nowadays. And so you settled on digging for old newspapers while your laptop waited at your disposal. Some of them were not at least bit interesting enough to make a story out of, no matter how fake you could have made it. Meanwhile, most were too graphic and delicate to bring up again. After all, is it worth telling your limited and counting audience that a happy family of 3 never made it out of a grim situation? Your work carried respect to the subjects you were writing about. You had to keep that up. It needed enough distance to evoke empathy, but not too less that it backfired. Which brought you in this circumstance, scrapping for leftovers. Stage and C would never be accommodating. Perhaps obscure locations would give you something. It worked well before. You were kind of desperate, so you took what was given. By your standards, somewhat. Hopefully. There it was. An old man lived on the outskirts of a nearby town, alone and devoid of any connections from anybody. Family was a no, and he practically lived off his own garden, what started this whole trip of yours in the first place. Specifically, a certain fruit. Every year, a small festival occurred at this town, where people celebrated the occasion of the community which was built on that day. Pretty wholesome on its own. They had activities and games, and all was having such fun. The most important event of the whole thing, though, was the enormous feast later on in the afternoon, where each person brought their own contribution to the table for anyone to dine in on. Being part of the locality, the old man did his part annually without fail. Healthy dishes, lovingly cooked, with the ingredients taken directly from his carefully kept garden. Not a single person turned their nose away, really having a portion each time. Until they did, and he was then deprived of respect, replaced with fear, worry, and absolute disgust. He was arrested. He did his time. Afterwards, he hid in his little college, never to be seen lounging by the pathway around town again. What was he arrested for? That was years and years ago. You snorted. Was he even alive? At this point, I mean, it's anyone's guess. If you wasted all this time going up there and ended up ransacking a dead man's probable grave, well, you'd cry a bit. Sure. Hello? A few minutes passed. She walked close. Where you headed, stranger? The house up over there. Wasn't aware someone else lived here. Writer? Something like that. It's been a while since there was a visit from somebody. Looking pretty too. I'm headed there as well. Need to drop off, have a cup of tea maybe. Were there a lot before me? Not much. Died down eventually. I don't know who's talking, so. Poor thing finally got a break. I see. You mind taking me along? It'll save me the cramps. I can beg if you want. That wouldn't be necessary. Courtesy. Sure, yeah, come in. Thanks. The rumble of the engine set off, and you were now alone with her. She got comfortable, claps her fingers together calmly. Okay. Oh, ask about her first. Yes, ever since. Kind of. I was pretty new when it happened. Bit of a shocking welcoming party. Hoped I didn't know that much. Helped how? Something about no bias, maybe. Keep quiet about it, though. I was sure it wouldn't bode well for me if I spoke up. Ah. I'm guessing you threw him a welcome party in return? Yeah. It's only polite. Where'd you come from? I'm just a little, lost soul looking for simplicity. Paid off a house just walking distance from his. Was it deliberate? Huh. Was it? Lifted your fingers off the wheel. Circumstantial, at best. Bad luck at worst. Which do you think it was? She shrugged. I'm happy here. Well, I'm happy I'm here. Feel like I found my place. Even with the old man? Especially with the old man. She gave you a smile, mournful around the edges. Both of you arrived just as early mist of the afternoon started to appear. You rubbed your palms on your jeans, flushing them red from the surface. She got out of the car, followed by you. Just realized I never called your name. It's Lou. Okay, so, yeah. Ellie. Good to meet you. Good, now I know who's talking. More so, for sure now. The wooden posts separating various parts of the farm were rotting. An abandoned laundry line was left to hang and rust. Your boots almost weren't enough for the sharp rocks, insisting on puncturing through, while the pathway promised little to no maintenance other than constant trudging. No trees that danced and whistled, only cheap soil and 2 tall weeds. You prayed your car could handle the way back home. Ellie didn't knock. She beckoned you to come in, asked you to be proper dress code, no muddy boots, only clean slippers. And an extra pair. A hushed conversation took place in another room, Ellie's voice more prominent than the other person. You have a visitor. Just me? Well, he certainly didn't come here for me. Charles? This is Charlie. Charles. Oh, okay. Almost twinsies. Hi, I'm looking to get an interview or just a little chat about the incident years ago. Incident? Heard nearby, Charles' voice was low and gruff. Sounded as if he hadn't used it for long intervals. Somewhere there was something soft, too, with the way he articulated his words. He shifted in his seat. Yes, if that's okay. What would you like to know? Anything that you'd want to say. I'd like to hear your side of the story. For a second, you thought he was gonna spurn kindly, but Charles looked more confused and troubled. I've been asked of that before, many times. Are you sure? Sorry? It's just, wouldn't it be the same as the other ones? The readers might have read them already. Oh. Other articles. There was none at all. Website mostly focused on the arrest itself, and not the point of view of Charles, which you were proposing earlier. I don't think so. They must not have published it or scrapped it altogether because I haven't seen any. Well, lucky break. Shall we start then? Right now? Yes. So we could have dinner later if you want to join. Dinner? Should you? I think it'll be rude to decline. Yay, you love Ellie's cooking. Maybe. I hope you do. Huh. Don't tell him what to do. Expectations Expectations can heighten how impressive you are. What? No. It is called the placebo effect. It disappeared into the kitchen, still in earshot if she tried hard enough. Though she'd be distant, well, not distant, but distracted, sitting at the table preparing the food. Charles, on the other hand, invited you to sit on the chair beside him after placing down a cushion. He smiled slightly. I noticed that you don't seem to mind this. The interview? No, not anymore. Why? Maybe I got numb about it. How many years has it been? Quite a few. Yes. I was a little scared and resentful even when they started coming around. I didn't want to talk to anyone at all. It was exhausting enough to just live. He paused, gathering his thoughts. You have Ellie to thank that you're here in the first place. She talked to them, then convinced me to do so too. They were kind, surprisingly. They were like you, wanting to write a story about my perspective. I wasn't naive to think that this was solely for fairness, no. But it was nice to tell someone what I thought all the time, or all that time. How'd you fare? Normally. Doesn't mean I was calm, nor was I hysterical. Of course. For a second, everyone was dining on each plate. Next, I was throwing stones at Black and Blue. Did everyone join in? No, only the children who thought it just... Oh. The adults tried to stop them and called the police. I didn't resist and went with them peacefully. It wasn't until a few hours later that day that I was checked on for injuries. Did you try to appeal? I considered it, but no, I didn't. The community at the time, well, wasn't sure what could have happened if I returned prematurely. Besides, I had little to no hope of it getting accepted. Better to let it die down, I thought. You may see it as dumb, but it was all I was thinking about. Not in the right state of mind for thinking right. No. Did you feel betrayed? Not at all. They were told I was a murderer, concrete evidence allowing their standpoint. I had nothing against that. Half. What did you think about the proof? I don't know. It was there. Do you expect someone put it there? I didn't do it, Charlie. But whether you believe me or not is not my concern. Though you have my gratitude if you do. The interview lasted for a few hours and it was already dark outside mostly. Charles answered all your questions the best he could while you thought it had imitated a repeated occurrence, which it was. Smells good over there. What do you think she cooked? It's always different each time. He thought back in the car where Ellie was holding a basket of ingredients. It was full of vegetables and spices, but you couldn't remember clearly. Evidently, you were a bit distracted with nerves and other things. Really hope you like it, Charlie. But if you don't, that's alright too. As long as you go home not feeling too hungry. Well, I appreciate it. Smiling politely, you satisfied Charles enough to make him settle a bit. In the impulse to talk to Ellie, you stood up and went to the kitchen and saw her pouring orange juice in glasses. The powder one, not organic. You guys had a good chat? Yeah. Is there anything I can help with? Ellie beamed at you, a little twinkle in her eye. Go fetch Charles. I'll take it from here. Okay. You went back and had Charles walk to the dining room with minimal assistance. Comfortably seated, Ellie came in holding dishes and bowls. Thought it would be nostalgic. A plate was laid on the center of the table, simultaneously revealing what supper they'll have for the night. Healthy, well, hearty serving of tomato. Okay. She continued on slicing and gave it one to each of your dishes. Charles recovered swiftly and wrapped. You took a minute or two. Ellie seemed oblivious. Was it today? My calendar's off a few years. Huh. Would you like me to buy you a new one? No. It'll be fine. Okay. It wasn't today. Either Ellie just had a strange sense of humor or means oddly well. Thank you for the meal. Indeed. All things considered, it was a great feed. Charles gradually became drowsy throughout, and Ellie helped him to bed upstairs. After he wished you well on your trip back home, thanking you as well for having a talk with him. She asked you to wait for her on the porch. You took off your borrowed slippers and stood by. A few minutes passed. You didn't hear her open the screen door. Ellie took out a lollipop stick. Do you believe him? Doesn't matter. It might. Or you could think I'm just curious. I want to say that I do. Was that good enough for a story? I didn't hear much, but that was a pretty bare-bone interview. The others were a little specific. A lot more questions than yours did. Writing a story with gaps isn't difficult for me. I asked everything I needed to know. Smooth sailing from there. Good. It'd be a shame if you came all the way out here and got nothing out of it. Well, would you give me a story at the last minute? Maybe. You might be surprised. Oh, I've seen a lot of in my line of work. Doubt it. Come home with me. Let's get to know each other then. Oh. Beer months are coming up. My schedule is hectic, but why not? Why not? You're serious? I am. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll come visit. Ellie looked amused, stepping closer by your side. Oh, sure. Are you certain? Oh, certain? You're planting a seed here, and I'm not sure you understand it well. Of course. It would be good for Charles, possibly. I think so, too. It's getting dark. Run along now before you get troubled in these parts. What I thought to be dangerous here didn't turn out to be one. Don't be a naive. Not now when I'm starting to like you. Really though. Be careful. It's another real shame if you died and both Charles and I lost a friend the second we gained one. Okay. This is goodbye then? A temporary one. Waving farewell, you strolled back to your car. Ellie didn't wave back, lost in thought. And 3. 10 will be sold. Oh, okay. that was ending 1 of 3. So yeah, just loving apples. If you want to play this game for yourself and see the other 2 endings, I will link that below, of course. If you like this video, of course, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share, comment, whatever it is you want to do. It's really up to you. So I will leave it here. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will you know, see y'all next one.